Guys, bit of a tricky night. Stocks just don't want to stop rallying, and I think there's a lot of FOMO trading. We come down here, bulls, beware the bear will return. Nasdaq is buying a Denza, Apple at record highs, Tesla's up 100%. And hedge funds are getting sucked in, thinking that the Fed are not going to move. Now, there's a 25% chance that they will. That's a small chance, but it's still a chance. And to me, if the inflation numbers tonight are very strong, then I think that those chances of the Fed actually moving will increase dramatically, and we'll see the stock market get bitten, for want of a better word. We can see the commodities here. Copper pretty much sideways, but rolling over at the moving average, which is I always like to see when it gets back to the moving average to roll over or turn at least, and head back in the direction of the trend, which at the moment the trend for copper is down. And we can see it's sort of also reversed off a bit of a double bottom there. Another key signal that it's going to struggle to get through that level. And copper, remember, is the global indicator of growth, and it's also a bellwether for the Aussie currency. The commodity index, big tick down for that overnight, and that's probably mostly from the oil. We're seeing wheat up a little bit, iron ore also turning over. Coal up. So commodity picture is not excuse me, is not great for the Aussie, and that all depends on China data, which we'll get later in the week. We get Chinese data on Thursday, is it? No, where is it? It's not even in here. Why is it not in there? Yeah, industrial production. So it is on Thursday. Thursday's a massive day for data and volatility. So if volatility is something you live for, well, Thursday's going to be a cracker. If it's not, then avoid it, because Thursday you've got, starting at 4 o'clock here in Australia, you've got the FOMC, and then you've got Kiwi GDP, Australian unemployment, Chinese data, which will be key for Aussie, and I guess global growth in a sense. If that's a bad number, then the market will rally because they'll be adding stimulus. If it's a good number, then the market won't, because they won't be adding stimulus, or the stimulus package may not come at all. Then you've got the ECB announcing interest rates, then you've got retail sales and Empire State, then you've got Philly Fed, then you've got ECB conference, and then industrial production. So a massive day on Thursday. On Friday you've got the BOJ. But tonight's CPI will be key to me. You've got the PPI tomorrow night, which is a lesser figure but also an inflationary number. But the CPI tonight will be key to see whether or not interest rates in the US are going to be moving. If we come over and have a look at the bond market, 2 years up a bit of a ceiling there around 4.6, and struggling to go carry on with it. You look at the 4 hour, it's pretty much sideways for the last couple of days. And that's the short end. If we go to the longer end, 10 years, it's also just sideways. So the bond market's treading water, whilst the stock market going gangbusters. And so it's very much a FOMO trading. It's overheated on that time frame, certainly on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. I don't see too much more upside to it. Why it's up here is because the Feds are going to pause interest rates. Doesn't mean they're going to be lowering interest rates or adding stimulus, making it almost like quantitative easing times again. Free cash, happy days, let's buy equities. I don't see it, but there's a lot of FOMO trading going on, so you can't certainly not something I'm going to be jumping on board. But US dollar, bit of a mixed bag overnight, weakened and strengthened. Really, it's just sort of also kind of treading water, just slowly making its way back to the moving average, which is where we like to see it, and find a support level to trade it off. So that to me is around 102.50 area. But we might not get that. If the CPI number comes out very strong tonight, then you would expect that the dollar will rally on the back of safe haven flow, but it'll also rally on the back of interest rates rising. So bear that in mind. Dollar yen, sideways. Again, look at the 4 hours. For the last week or so, it's just going nowhere. Cable, couldn't hold on to it. I wrote in the blog this week that not sure why it's up here. The data coming out of the UK isn't that strong. They had inflation numbers recently at 8.7. Yes, that's off there. They were over 10% in one stage, but it's still very high. And yet the economic data coming out of the UK isn't that strong. So I'm not sure why it was rallying. And a big sell-off day for the cable. And euro, we're looking for it to get short, and it's struggling to sort of get back up to the moving average. There's a bit of a level there at 707.80, around that these lows, these highs. If I put a horizontal there, you might see it a bit better. But we're looking at, come here, there. You can see it's turned there a few times, so it might be struggling to get through that. And with the stronger US dollar, I would see that off there and making a new cycle low. And Aussie dollar couldn't get through 68. It got up as high as 72, but there's a clear resistance there at 68 that it'll struggle to get through. Overheated on the momentum indicators. Maybe it might go up and have another look at that 68 before it turns, but that's where I would fade it from, is the 68 level. So if it gets up there, that's where I'd be looking to sell it. And that's about it for today. Big news tonight, lots of volatility on Thursday. Trade accordingly.